You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. C.S. Lewis. Welcome to Casa De Confidence, a podcast for you. You'll hear some incredible women
and some awesome, cool dudes
going confidently in the direction of their dreams and living in the purpose of their heart.
You're our host,
Julie DeLucca-Collins, and you are our sidekick. Hashtag handsome hot husband.
That again.
And the producer of the show.
That I am.
I am an author, speaker, coach, dreamer, and most of all,
we help people go in the direction of their dreams
and support them on their purpose. So pull up a chair,
grab a drink,
and make yourself at home because our casa
is your casa. Welcome back to another week of Casa De Confidence. I'm Dan, and this is the amazing Julie.
Julie DeLucca-Collins here. Hey, Daniel.
Yes.
Something really cool happened this week.
Really?
And okay, to say that I am floored, blown away, and I think it's not real, and I am, all the things, right, that imposter syndrome brings us are going through my brain. I can't take it. Honestly.
Well, what happened?
Okay, so I got an email saying that I was featured in BuzzFeed. Okay?
That's right.
I was featured in BuzzFeed as one of the 5 women to follow for inspiration and a better life. What? The what?
You were number 2 on the list right there, right behind
Brene Brown. What the heck is happening in life? Oh my gosh, I can't.
Wow, you're excited.
Okay, first of all,
I'm excited. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. A lot of really cool things have happened. But when I told you that, you were impressed.
I was impressed.
Super.
I was very impressed.
I am impressed with myself. I tend to think that that's like somebody else. It can't be me. And I know that this is so common for all of us. And by the way, it's not just now. Throughout my life, any time that I achieved something or that I did something, I thought, what the heck? Who was that? And you know what makes it very, very special that I received this designation or honor is not just that is Brene Brown, who was named number 1, but that I was also named with 2 other women who are in my life, who I love and I admire, and they're incredible individuals. One is, of course, my friend Danielle McGrath and the wonderful, Nicole Tewksbury, who we met in person. I've known her for over a year, but we got to hang out at Podfest, and we had so much fun with her and her partner. But if you have not met these incredible women, Danielle McGrath is the founder of Sacred Soul, Inc. And what I love about my friend Nicole is that she has an ultimate goal to reshape how entrepreneurs champion holistic approach to success. And she has a podcast. I've been on it. She produces several online summits, and she wants to leave a legacy of compassion and empowerment for others. So I love that. That was cool.
So you know what I'm impressed about? We all come here on our journeys in life, and everyone's journey is different.
Yes.
And everyone meets people, and you get in relationships. And knowing your story, and knowing what you went through when you left the corporate world and when you left your first marriage, I think that's incredible. And you've now ascended to this honor, and that's amazing. And that kind of ties into our guest today, where
it does.
A lot of people can feel betrayed or have been betrayed by someone close to them. And I think that's something that is an incredible feat for someone to get past that. No, for someone to go through that.
Because
we're not called to get past things.
No.
We're called to go through them.
Yeah. And by the way, I think that we're not like at the top, like, oh, look at me, I'm at the top of the mountain. Or we could be at the top of the mountain, but then we're going to come down.
Not what I'm implying. I'm saying I'm so incredibly proud of you.
Thank you, honey.
For the things you're doing, the things you've done, and the things you're going to do. So,
well, God willing, I have a long life.
So, why don't you tell the listeners why this matters to our guests?
Well, in today's episode, I have a guest, and I have to tell you, she's a New Yorker. I love her. She's got an incredible message, but most of all is an incredible message of hope, of moving and healing and understanding that there's so many different things that can come to us, right? So Vanessa Cardenas is a multifaceted professional with a unique journey. She is primarily in leadership, but she is what she calls a betrayal recovery coach. She went through betrayal in a 20-year marriage. And as she went through that, there's so many different complex emotions and feelings and things that you go through that she is now dedicated in helping women go through a betrayal recovery. In addition to helping women through that, she reflects really on the commitment and how we must break barriers. And she firmly believes that we should be more women in leadership roles and in the C-suite, which is exactly one of the reasons I started this podcast. Because after leaving corporate, after having a job in the C-suite, which is the thing like, oh my God, I got as high as you can get within a company, right? But then I thought of all the other women that have come behind me and that look at me and say, I could never do what she's doing. And I am here to tell you that you can, that you will. You need to just surround yourself with the community and the people that have gone before you, because we're sending the elevator back down. Because by the way, the top is lonely and we need you here. We need you to come up and come along for the journey. Live up to your dreams. All of us have them. And if you've put them away somewhere along the way, it's time to kind of decide, right? Not do it, but decide that you're going to take a small step forward, because that's all that it takes. When I started this podcast, I was nervous as hell. And I remember I'm like, Dan, you're going to have to interview me because I don't know what I'm going to say. And that's how we started. And that's how we ended up with a co-host here.
Episode 1.
And the reality is that all of us need someone by our side. And by the way, this episode, I do talk a little bit about my first marriage and a little bit of that. I don't know if I completely share it in this podcast. I don't know that I'm ready to share it in this podcast. I have shared it in other people's podcasts. But I do think that, you know, the recovery process after being betrayed is very personal. And I left a marriage, and that may not be the right choice for you. I actually was telling Dan about someone who I've been following online. She was my inspiration for starting this podcast. And she went through a very, very public betrayal as well. And I watched her as she came back online, came back on the podcast yesterday. And she is doing this with grace. She is doing this with boundaries. And again, she is doing it because she knows that all of us must share our stories, because there's power in the story. They connect us and they make us come together as humans.
Yeah.
So anyway, Daniel, happy Cinco de Mayo. May the 4th be with you. This was a jam-packed weekend for us. My goodness.
Oh, we went to a party last night, and, you know, I was very disappointed.
Why?
You didn't leave your hair up in the Princess Leia buns like you had in when we were home, because it was May the 4th.
Yes, I love Princess Leia. But you know what I love about Princess Leia, Morse? That she became a general. And I totally identified with that because
General Organa.
I was a princess before.
Hmm?
But you know what? I'm becoming the own general of my life. And she did not wear her little buns anymore.
Hey, you know what? You know how I know that I grew up in a Catholic community, in a Catholic family?
How?
Because whenever you say "May the Fourth be with you,"
You also say, and also
and
with
also
you.
with you.
Yeah, I know. We are Catholic at heart.
And I know
we?
they don't actually say that anymore.
I know.
In the
We went to
Mass.
church and they don't say that.
Yeah.
And what do they say? With your spirit?
And with yeah,
Okay.
which fits too. I mean,
Sure, why not?
well,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so. Oh, I don't even know what the word is.
So what if you were going to pick a Star Wars character?
Sure.
That I'm the most like, who would it be? And I know what you're going to say. Come on.
I would like it to be Han Solo.
Yeah, but you're going to say
Chewie.
Yep. That's what you're going to say.
Because you have as much hair as he does. I'm just saying.
Because I'm tall and I have a lot of back hair. Princess
Leia had a great relationship with Chewie.
Yes, she did.
And by the way, I'm not picking Han Solo because after all, Leia and Hans separated and went their different ways.
They did.
You know, she kept her relationship.
I always love their interaction though. Whenever she said "I love you," what did he say?
Back at you.
I know.
You tell me that all the time too. By the way,
I know.
Oh my gosh! Really? You're a ridiculous nerd, but I am a nerd too because I love Star Wars.
It's actually a great part of the movie that was in Empire.
I know. Hey, they were playing that all afternoon. Now it's Cinco de Mayo, people. We are going to have a little bit of margaritas, and you know who we're having a margarita from? We are making it here at Casa De Confidence with Inspira Tequila. Not an ad, but it should be. Inspira Tequila is the incredible creation of a person I met at Boss Talks, which, by the way, Building a Boss Summit is coming to Hartford, people. Building a Boss Summit, put it on your calendar, October 5th, and we're going to talk about this a little more later on. But, Daniel, time is running out in this conversation.
I know, because the conversation to follow is incredible.
Yes. So if you are following me, make sure that you go and follow Vanessa. She's on Instagram at Trusted Advisor for Betrayal. And there are underscores between all those words. Trusted _advisor _for _betrayal. She also has a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. And by the way, I'm back on Facebook, boys and girls. I don't know for how long, but get yourself verified on Instagram because then you'll be able to chat with the people on Facebook.
So if you have experience in your life of betrayal, as Vanessa's website says, she's there for when you need someone who understands. And I hope you enjoy this interview with Julie and Vanessa Cardenas.
Welcome back, my friend. I am excited to have someone with me today that I've been looking forward to speaking to. If you are thinking of overcoming betrayal, finding trust, love, and happiness on your terms with a betrayal recovery specialist, our guest here, Vanessa Cardenas, is the person you need to speak to. She has an incredible bio and things that she has done. She has been newly verified on Medium, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. But before we jump into the show, I must say, welcome, Vanessa. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I've been so excited about this conversation because when we initially had our chat, we were 3 minutes in and we were like, oh, this is perfect. This is great. We speak the same language. We have the same, there's so much synchronicities. And so I've been looking so forward to chatting with you and having an impact on your audience. Look at all that you do. My goodness.
Thank you. You know, I do the things that I do because other people have poured into me. So this show is really specifically been launched as a dream of mine to help others leverage confidence by the things that we're going to talk about, and I know that individuals who are listening, whether or not they've gone through betrayal, there is a reason you are listening. Maybe not you, but perhaps somebody else has. And this conversation is going to help you, is going to enlighten you, but it's more importantly going to create a ripple effect and let you know that you or others are not alone as we go through this journey. So let's jump in. I am curious. I haven't met another overcoming betrayal person, someone that is helping people overcome that. What led you here? Because that's not what you were thinking when you were 5 and said, I'm going to become a betrayal coach.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. I'm a C-suite executive, actually, for the last 20 years in healthcare. And nobody becomes a betrayal recovery specialist. Nobody studies it unless you've experienced it. And I did. 3 words, 3 words, 3 words. I've met someone that my husband said to me one day that just completely blew up my world, completely shattered into a million pieces. And I fell apart. And I'm a strong woman. I have a psychology degree. Why was this affecting me the way it was? Why did I descend into darkness like no other? It was a grieving process. And I know that grief is just very, very overwhelming, especially when you lose someone.
Yeah.
I didn't lose someone. He was standing right there, taking my heart out of my chest and stomping on it, in essence. And I descended into that darkness. I could not believe how affected I was. And it wasn't until I actually reached out for help, because I thought I could do it on my own. I can read a couple of books. I can attend a couple of seminars. I'd be fine. I didn't need to talk to anybody. Why would I need to talk to anybody? No, I could do this. And I wanted to keep it in-house. I didn't want anybody else to see that vulnerability, that this was happening to me. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible that I did that to myself. I was selfish. And it wasn't until I got that necessary help that I reached out to a therapist, to a coach, because they are different. Therapy digs into your past and figures out, why, type of thing. Your coach, here, present, what's going on right now, and let's look towards the future. And I did it simultaneously, which was great, And I learned from all of the gurus. You name it, I have either attended their seminar or I have worked with them one-on-one as well, because you do need the help. You absolutely do. And I found myself going through a situation where you had mentioned at the start of this conversation that people might not have experienced betrayal. It's my experience that more people have had betrayal than they'd like to admit, that they almost actually don't even put the language to it.
Oh, so good.
Why this was affecting me so severely was that I had what I refer to all these micro betrayals throughout my entire life, starting in childhood, in kindergarten, when the bully took your lunch money and nobody stuck up for you, and you have all these friends and nobody's sticking up for you with the bully. That's a little bit of a betrayal, but you don't have the language to be able to talk about that or to be able to say that. And all throughout my life were always these little micro betrayals that I just glossed over. I put a Band-Aid over it and that was it. It was gone, and out of sight, out of mind. But when you get I've met someone, all of those also open up.
Yeah.
Because now you have the language, now you see it, and you need the help guiding you through, because the first thing we do is we numb ourselves, we avoid, and we distract ourselves because we don't want to feel that pain. We don't, but we do. And we need to go through it. Because I can tell you this, the other side, oh, it's so beautiful. It really is. And dare I say, I'm better for the experience. I'm absolutely better for the experience. And I have the most attractive quality, at least in my mind. And I say it to other people, what is the most attractive quality on either gender? Do you know what it is?
Confidence.
Yes, exactly. Confidence.
It's my word, so I
Yes,
know.
exactly. It doesn't matter your shape, your size, nothing. If you
Absolutely.
exude confidence, you walk in owning the room, not arrogance, not to be
Right.
confused with arrogance, but confident in your own skin. It's so attractive.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. People gravitate to you. You radiate it off of you. And I am grateful for the betrayal. And this, of course, is in hindsight.
In hindsight, absolutely.
Yeah. During the moment, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm dying. But yeah, so I had made a pact with God's source spirit that if I could get a reprieve from how much I was hurting, that I promised that I would help someone else.
I'm so glad you're saying this. As I'm hearing you speak, very similar to your story. I didn't have the 3 words. I actually found on email randomly. And that betrayal, definitely, I was overwhelmed with the emotions. And I felt alone and I felt confused because I thought, wait a minute, what is happening? And nobody ever prepares you. Nobody, and even if you talk about it, and even if we share, this is what I felt, what I experienced, it is very unique grief because grief is unique to all of us because of our experiences. The path to regaining trust definitely begins with doing the internal work. And I also worked with a coach. I also worked with therapists at the same time, but a coach definitely made the big difference. How do you help individuals begin to get in the path of regaining trust? Of again, like you say, I've read you mention finding happiness in your own terms because when you're going through it, you don't think happiness is there for you. I was thinking I was going to be a cat lady for the rest of my life, and by the way, I'm allergic to cats. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? But I envision this, oh, woe is me life. And now I'm on the other side, but I know that there's people who maybe are not there yet. Tell me more about that.
Yes. It's such, you said it so beautifully. You absolutely did. And I'd love to add to it. It really comes down to ourselves first. We think that betrayal recovery is the relationship. We need to fix the relationship. No. First of all, I don't like the word fix because it implies that you're broken.
Yeah.
You're not broken. Something terrible has happened to you, but it wasn't about you.
Yeah.
Wasn't about you. So the first area that I usually work with clients is that trust. But most people think, oh, I have to trust my partner. No. We're not even at your partner. Trust yourself. Because you suddenly have just completely shattered your sense of what the world is like. And you don't trust anything, anyone, nor do you trust yourself. So it's starting very small, very incremental. What can you trust today? Oh, I can trust that the sun will rise.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I can trust that the sun will set. I can trust that if I turn on my faucet, water will come out. It's these little micro trusting that you say to yourself, this is what's going to happen, and it happens. This is what's going to happen, and it happens. Then you start the foundation of trust, which is built brick by brick by brick. You can't run a marathon just because you bought a pair of sneakers. It doesn't work that way. It all starts with one step after another, after another. So it's layer after layer after layer. Then the next step is to make commitments to yourself. I commit that tomorrow morning when I wake up, because I'm in the throes of betrayal, I am actually going to brush my teeth. I know it sounds silly, but yes, We lose sight of ourselves.
Yeah.
So we get up the next morning, we brush our teeth, we made a commitment to ourselves, and we did it. We're learning to trust ourselves.
Yeah. Trusting ourselves is difficult in the middle of that muck.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And then it's asking the people around us to make a commitment and to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to meet you at 12 o'clock. You're there at 12 o'clock. You've honored your commitment. I can now, little trust nugget in the bank. Good. And it's just building it piece by piece and getting to the point where you have self-trust, where you can look around and see things for what they actually are. You've taken off the rose-colored glasses and now you're just wearing dark black glasses. We're going to take those off. We're going to look around. We're going to peek around and we're going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good. There's so many layers that are things that we need to kind of work through. One of the things that you said is these micro betrayals, but micro wins as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you're talking tiny habits are my thing. So of course, I am excited that you're talking about this. But a lot of times people think that little steps don't help. They want to be there at the end. They want to be fixed right away. They want to have the pain go away. What are things that you will say to that person that says, I don't think that's going to work. I need an answer. I need that change right away. What do you say to them?
I compare it to going to the gym. Just because you do 600 crunches in one day does not mean the very next day you have a six-pack. It doesn't work like that. Same thing learning to drive. You didn't get in the car for the very first time behind the wheel and know everything there was to know about driving. We learn things in incremental steps. We cannot go from A to Z without the rest of the alphabet in between. It just doesn't work that way. So I try to show examples in their own life. When you got into the car for the first time, did you know how to parallel park?
No.
Exactly. So we're going to take it step by step. Okay. First thing we need to learn to do when we drive a car is actually look at the mirrors. First thing, put the seatbelt on for safety. Put our hands on the wheel, turn on the engine, gently put our foot on the gas. Now, for those of you that have taught a teenager how to drive, do they gently put their foot on the gas? Woo! Oh, no. My goodness. Yes. So I use those examples just to give a frame of reference. We're not going to get from A to Z overnight.
Yeah. I like that you gave that very tangible example. I love that. I think that when we start to see it, that we don't land. We weren't babies that woke up running. We had to really go through every single step. Betrayal again is something that most individuals, whether it be a micro betrayal or other ways in which we experience it, but we sometimes are the person on the other side. And there's a lot of shame when we maybe have been that person. There's someone listening who is on the other side and perhaps betrayed others. What do you say to that person listening?
Own up to it. Take full responsibility for it. Genuinely apologize if you feel that way. I have found in my experience in working with clients that sometimes people want out of their relationship. Their relationship has run its course. They want out. And their partner is not hearing them for a variety of reasons. Maybe they're not speaking clearly enough, but for whatever reason, their partner is not hearing them when they say they want out. So they do the most damaging thing, the most irrepressible thing that will never be forgiven. They cheat as a way of getting out. And it's very detrimental. It absolutely is. So my first for somebody who has already betrayed, communicate. Communicate. Give your partner the reasons why, because your partner is agonizing. The person who has been betrayed is agonizing as to why this happened. Why is the biggest question. The second question after it is all the variety, where, how, you name it. We have a running checklist through our head of every single question that we want to ask. But right at the top is why. So for the betrayer, the one who has betrayed, own it. Own it. Be transparent. Speak. Communicate. Give your partner the reason why. As painful as it is, do not string your partner along if it is in fact that you want out of the relationship. Mm-hmm. And for those that have been betrayed, that's a question to ask. I didn't even think of that when my husband said, I've met someone that he was wanting out of the relationship. Hadn't even crossed my mind. And you would think right at that moment, oh, he wants out. But what had happened was, in my particular case, because he said those 3 words to me and I completely fell apart and I raged. Whew, I raged. He shut down. He turtled in. And it wasn't until we went to marriage counseling that he communicated that the reason that he told me I've met someone is that he was feeling that our relationship, because we had been married for over 20 years, we had known each other for over 30 years.
Wow.
That it became very micromanaged. And we were micromanaging our household. We were micromanaging our children. We were micromanaging our careers. We were micromanaging our relationship. And suddenly this other woman fluttered in and caretaked his confidence. And it made him feel really good. And he liked that. He liked the way it felt. He just didn't want it from her. He wanted it from me. But because he didn't communicate that, and the way he said, I've met someone, and in a split second, I had already seen them married with kids and the house, the cars and the money, and me being alone, cat lady, just like you said, in an instant, I thought that. But here we are, we're in marriage counseling, and he says, well, I wanted that from you. And that's when it kind of dawned on me, wait a second, did you do this? Why did you do this? Like, now we're back to the why again. So again, it's communication. It's always comes down to communication. We have got to use our words, and we have to use them effectively. The best example I have for this is there is a wonderful episode of Friends.
Oh, my favorite show.
Yes, where Ross finds out that Monica, spoiler alert, Monica and Chandler are dating. So they walk in, there's Ross, and he goes, you're dating? My sister is dating my best friend? And they look at each other and they say, it's nice. I love him. I love her. Pans to Ross again. You're dating my sister and my best friend. Exact same words. Exact same words. We have to use our language. We have to talk. And the other person, and this was my fault, completely my fault, needs to pause, respond, ask for clarification. In my case, I didn't pause. I reacted immediately, not allowing for any explanation or anything else. And rightfully so, my husband just turtled in. He was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what I've just done. And now he's feeling the shame and the guilt and everything else of, oh my God, I have destroyed. I've seen my wife I've seen her give birth to my children, everything. I've never seen her this way. I've destroyed her. And there's almost no recovery. How do I clean this up?
What are the immediate action steps that someone can begin with when we are betrayed?
First and foremost, slow down. slow down. Everything is coming at you light speed. Slow it down. Breathe and slow it down. I really suggest that you think about who you want to talk to, because once you let the toothpaste out of the tube, you will never get it back.
Oh, so
you
good.
decide to tell all your girlfriends, can you believe what he has done? If there is any chance of reconciliation, your girlfriends will always be judging you for that. You didn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's knowing who in your circle, because you do need a circle of, but who is going to provide that support to you without judgment, giving you the space you need to get to the clarity that you need to make a decision, whether to stay or to go. Sometimes that decision is very vague. We don't know yet because we don't have enough context yet to decide to stay or to go. Sometimes it's very obvious, especially if there's abuse. If there's abuse, you get out. You get out. You get out. Hands down. But sometimes, especially in my particular case, to stay or to go, to stay or to go. It's also not fair to bounce back and forth. You're not doing your relationship any justice by doing that.
Or the people around you, especially if there are children involved.
Exactly. Exactly. The uncertainty is very unnerving. It truly, truly is. And you don't want to be in that position. You want to get to the clarity that you need to make a decision and then live in that decision. It's not 100%. Just because you decide to stay and you live that way, and then maybe a year or two down the line, you realize this isn't quite working. That's okay. That's absolutely okay. There have been lots of instances, we know it, where immediately separate, divorced, everything else, and they both comment to other people around them, we should have worked it out. We should have in some manner, we should have given it effort, some sort of effort. And usually that's really far removed. But it's the immediate step is definitely slow it down. And it's really hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. But we need to slow it down. The third suggestion that I have is really important. Women, even if he tells you it was an emotional affair, even if he tells you it was all online, that he never had any physical contact, please go to your GYN. For your own peace of mind, have STD screening. I know it's ridiculously embarrassing, very much so. I was, my GYN, bless her heart, she's been with me for 25 years, knows I'm married. I needed to walk into the office and say, I need STD screening. And, because I feared the judgment. Oh, what's going on with you? What are you doing? What's he doing? And I didn't need any of that.
Right.
Very unnerving, but yes, get STD screening just for your peace of mind. There's nothing there. Okay, there's nothing there. But if there's something there, we got a problem. We got
knowledge is power, Vanessa. And I also had to do that that shameful walk into the doctor's office, and but it's a step. It was one of the first things that I did as well. And in my case, my marriage was we didn't save the marriage. It saved my husband. And we're friends. My ex-husband and I are friends. And he was very tortured in his life, and he definitely had some demons. And he, I'm not going to say we shouldn't have married, because I am the person that I am because of that relationship, and I treasure that. But certainly, he was betraying me with another gentleman, which, that was a double whammy for me. Not only am I betrayed, but then I was betrayed, like, wait, something is wrong with me. And at the same time, I felt like, wait, there's nothing wrong with me. Now this makes sense. And it was such a confusion set of emotions. I love that you have some very clear takeaways for people. Do you feel that most marriages can survive betrayal? because I was in a different boat, but I wonder if there's someone listening wondering, can I survive this? What do you say to them?
There has to be a willingness by both parties, that both parties want to make the marriage work. If you don't have that, it's almost doomed, especially if the person who did the betraying, the betrayer, doesn't own up to it, doesn't think that there's anything wrong with whatever his behavior was, his or her behavior was, that is causing you to feel the way that you are. And every relationship is as unique as your fingerprint. And that means every recovery is equally as unique. And whether you decide to stay or to go, that decision needs to come from clarity, and it only needs to come from within you. No one can tell you. You make that decision on your own. It's a really hard decision to make, but you are able to make that decision. And I recently, just yesterday, oh my gosh, just yesterday, I spoke to one of the very first clients that I had many, many years ago. And we went through a lot of variety of exercises to get her to that clarity. And she decided not to stay in the marriage. She was married for almost 3 decades. She decided, you know what? I need out. And she called me yesterday. She called me yesterday and she said, I met a woman who's suffering. Can I refer her? And I said, of course. And I said, how are you? And she goes, I am great. I am great. I stepped into who I was meant to be. Now that's completely different than me. I stepped into who I was meant to be, but I'm still married.
Right.
She stepped into who she was meant to be, but she decided to divorce. The spectrum is all there, and you can't, when we compare, we despair.
Yeah.
Don't compare. Don't compare. Again, we circle right back. Confidence. Be confident in your decision. Own it. Own it. And it's okay. And it's okay in the beginning not to be okay, because you won't be. And it's okay. And be gentle with yourself. Just be gentle with yourself. Slow it all down. But don't numb, avoid, and distract. Don't try to skirt around it. Don't dismiss it as, okay, whatever. No. You gotta work through it. Because when you look in the mirror and you see yourself and you look deep into your eyes, you want to just have that confidence burst out of you and just say, you know what? I'm pretty amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So good. I want to ask you, and again, you're dropping so many pearls of wisdom. I know that I'm going to listen to this episode again because I love going back and hearing the conversations, because there's something that I don't always listen to in the beginning, although I'm listening to you intently. There's always another pearl of wisdom I'll pick up. But you are a mental fitness coach, as I am myself. How can we use mental fitness, and what is mental fitness, and how can we use it to leverage these skills to overcome that betrayal from a partner?
Yeah, mental fitness. People don't recognize it. They don't understand that, yes, you can go to the gym and work out your body, build up those muscles. Yeah, your mind is as well. And we have, especially when we go through betrayal, we have the nasty chick voice on our shoulders. For men, they have the authoritative voice on their shoulders as well. But for women, we have the nasty chick voice, who is relentless. She beats us down. So mental fitness is about tapping her down, especially right after betrayal. I like to use a variety of exercises. I love Positive Intelligence, wonderful book, great app as well. Run through the course, everything else. One of the things is just the touch, just the act of touching. We don't touch ourselves.
No.
We don't. Even just
Giving yourself a hug, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. This, just this. something with our hands, just touching. That's why I encourage my clients. When I go like this, they're like, yeah, type of thing. I'm like, do you have a favorite hand lotion? Do you have a favorite hand lotion, favorite scent? Oh, I love roses. I want you to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, and I want you to get rose-scented hand lotion. Okay? And every day, 3 times a day, I want you to take off your rings, and I want you to put lotion on your hands. They think it's related to the lotion. No, it's not. It's related to the touch. I want you to touch. I want you to touch. Do you use face cream? Oh, yeah, no, every once in a while I'll use face cream. Okay. I want you to use it nightly.
I love that. And, for me, you're speaking about hand cream. Here it is. And this is the little something that connects me to that present moment. Taking that deep breath. I'm here. That breath is the only thing that can connect you to the now. You're not in the future breathing. You're not in the past breathing. You're really in your body, and being aware are some of these really good nuggets that can help you in under difficult circumstances, whether it's betrayal, whether it's been a difficult boss, the traffic, whatever it might be going on. So I love the hand lotion. This is very, very good. Such
You
a
want
great
another
tip.
one?
Yes, give me another one.
Okay. I have always been fascinated. I'm working in corporate America for quite a while. I worked in Manhattan, and my colleagues would get up at about 10:30 in the morning and go out for a cigarette break.
Mhm.
And then they'd come back and they'd be so relaxed. And I'm like, I'd look around. I'm like, wow, they'd leave just so tense and I need a cigarette.
Mhm.
And they would come back and they'd just be like, it's so chill. And I'm like,
Right.
do I need to take up smoking?
Right.
What's their secret type of thing? And I started to follow them down for
Mhm.
their cigarette break, just to kind of observe what actually is going on. What it is breathing. Think of it this way. And for those of you that are smokers, or those of you that have quit smoking, I apologize in advance. But hopefully you'll understand this. So what does a smoker do initially? They light their cigarette. They put it up to their lips. They light it.
And they're breathing in. Yeah.
They're breathing in. Their chest pops out. Their shoulders go back. And then what do they do?
Get it out.
So now they have breathed all the way down to their hips and let it out. Now, the average cigarette is about 15 puffs. So they're breathing in,
breathing out. I've never looked at it that way.
And then at the end of the cigarette, what do? They hold it for the longest time. They let it go. They flick the butt.
Yep.
It's not the smoking.
Yeah.
It's the breathing.
Amazing.
In and the out. The in and the out. So I invite my clients, I want you to smoke without a cigarette.
There you go. I like it. I like it. Breathe in, breathe out. That diaphragm breathing can make such an impact. We flew back from Orlando this week. My husband and I went to the 10th annual Podfest conference, and we, there was a little turbulence, and people started to get nervous. And for me, I just took a deep breath in and out. And as I calmed myself, I can feel my husband's body also becoming a little more calm, because he was tense. Not that he was worried, but you could feel a little bit of that nervous feeling. And I think that this is so important, specifically in relationships. When we feel ourselves vibrating very high, it's very important to take the pause. Take the pause. And that can make a big difference with what you may say next, what you may interact with. And it's a gift that we all can leverage.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Extremely well said.
No, well, you got started. I'm just following your lead. Vanessa, I want to celebrate you because you are now verified and a verified contributor for Medium. Tell me more about that because I'm so excited. People will get to read some of your genius out there in additional places. So tell us more about that.
Oh, somebody had recommended it to me. Somebody who read my book and was like, "You write extremely well." You're like, matter of fact, yeah, I'm from New York, so I get right to the point
I
type
love
of
it.
thing. Like, you know what? You should actually write for Medium. Your blogs are great on your website, but they're only being seen by those that gravitate to your website. Medium
Hmm.
is such a large platform. You might enjoy that. So,
Hmm.
okay, I dabbled in it and threw up an article that, started to get some traction and then threw up another article. And then I got invited to be a verified author. And, I'm reading through the application and it's talking about your publisher and your publisher's contact phone number and everything else. And I'm like, well, wait a second, my books are self-published.
Hmm.
They're available in paperback on Amazon, but they're self-published. I don't have a publisher. And I was feeling I was letting betrayal, I was betraying myself,
Hmm. Hmm.
kind of seep in. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply for it. And, it's a little blue icon next to your name. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever, type of thing. I was diminishing it again, self-betraying myself.
Self-betrayal, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I got that email that says, congratulations. Oh my God, I was so full of pride.
Yep.
This little blue icon that says, I'm a verified author on the
Mhm.
Medium platform. And it's, oh my gosh, so much pride, so much pride. Mm.
Oh, good. Well, I am proud of you and I'm excited because, again, resources, information, support, we can't do it alone. We really can't. And you are a very trusted advisor to many for what you are doing. You mentioned your books. Tell me a little bit more about your books.
Mm. They weren't they weren't created for commercial or an academic success. Not at
Mhm.
all. Not at all. I wanted I wanted to put out the book that I needed at the
Mm.
time. My nightstand was stacked with books about betrayal. And while each and every one of them had tons and tons of highlights within them, there were certain aspects of each that I didn't like. Not the religious undertones, not the guilty undertones, not the scientific jargon that just went right over my head. Again, when you're right in the throes of it, it's really hard to concentrate on anything. I wanted a quick book that told me in 3 pages or less, because that's all I could really read,
Mm.
what I was going through, why I was feeling that way, and what I could do about it, some suggestions that I could do about it, and end on a positive note. So every single one of my chapters ends with a journal prompt, something to
Love it.
think about as hopefully you start to fall asleep and you have a good thought in your head, that you wake up somewhat a little bit more refreshed, that the betrayal isn't right when you wake up, but rather, here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to set the intention and I'm going to do this, whatever this is,
Mhm.
but the intention. So my book was designed that way. And then I had I had a magical moment where someone had reached out to me. She was really struggling. She wanted my services pro bono. And in talking to her, I recognized that she was going to have a very difficult holiday season. And I went home and it was just ruminating in my head. And I decided that I was going to take all of the proceeds of my book for the entire year and cut her a check and send it to her.
Ah,
Because again,
beautiful.
it wasn't created to be a commercial or an academic success for me. It was designed to help
Yeah.
help someone else, that if they go, they purchase it, they read it, and it helps them. It actually says in the back of the book, when you're done with this book, please donate it to your local library or your GYN office or
Yeah.
your lawyer's office, some office where
Hmm.
somebody who's going through the experience can find it, see it, and take it,
Yeah.
so that they have it. Because what it's such a shame-inducing situation that sometimes people don't even want to put it in their Amazon cart.
Yeah.
As if Amazon is judging them.
Amazon's not going to judge you, friend. And by the way, I love that. When I find a book that I enjoy, I buy one for a friend, and I know that I am going to give this one away because there's so many messages that we need to hear. And we need to sometimes have these angels come alongside of us and share these messages. You do that in a lot of the work that you're doing. You are helping women get past the grief and get past some of the uncertainty that you experienced during that time, and even the anger. There's a roller coaster of emotions. And certainly having a trusted advisor by your side is key. You have a book and you're in the process of doing another one. It's the Over 500 Ways to Talk to a New Man After Betrayal, Great Conversation Starters. And now you're going to be doing another version. Tell me the new version that you're working on.
The new version that I'm working on, and again, it was based on feedback, was that a lot of women who've gone through betrayal and have decided to divorce jump back into dating. They struggle because the betrayal is so front and center. They're so worried about being betrayed again. They don't want to repeat that pattern. How do they communicate? How do they communicate with a man without dumping all over the man on the first date, which you don't want to do, but also setting your boundaries? Here's where I'm at. Confidence. So I took my existing ebook that was specifically how to talk to your man after betrayal, whether that's staying with your existing man or moving on to a new man. But now I've taken it and morphed it into really specifically for those that have gone through divorce. So I would love the opportunity to offer it exclusively
Thank you.
to your audience for the time being, until I do plan probably in the summer or the fall to do a workshop on it, because I love.
Oh, that would be powerful.
Yes.
Well, you're going to have to pass on the information when you do that. I think it's so generous that you're offering this to the audience. We need it, and we know someone that needs it. So this is excellent, because confidence, like we've said, is that piece that makes it happen. You walk into a room and it's that unspeakable gift that we can give others to help them build their confidence. So many different things to unpack. Our time has kind of, run away because this is so good. This is a great conversation. I'm going to listen to it again. But Vanessa, how do people find you? How do they connect with you? Your resources, you have courses, you are a speaker. So how can people get to know you and leverage all of the gifts that you have and take advantage of what they need from you?
Well, my website's a great place to start. It's filled with tons of resources for you. And it's at understandingear.com. And it comes from a quote from one of my favorite books. The author, believe it or not, Stephen King. Yes. Horror writer. Oh, yes.
Okay.
He wrote a wonderful book called Different Seasons. It was short stories. And in one of them, it starts with this beautiful quote, and I've condensed it. The most important things to say are the hardest things to say. They're locked within, not for the want of a teller, but for the want of an understanding ear.
Powerful. And so good for us to kind of say goodbye on this note. I love that quote. And I know that people have a friend and an understanding ear in you. And thank you for the work that you do on behalf of all the women who are benefiting from your gifts, your talents, your ear, and your love and dedication for them. Vanessa, will you come back?
Absolutely. It would be my honor to.
Yeah. Well, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Thanks for listening to Casa De Confidence. We thank you for listening. And if you want more, go to casadeconfidencepod.com. check Julie out on her socials as Julie DeLucca-Collins. And you can also check out her website at goconfidentlycoaching.com. Have a great week, and don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Hi, everybody. I know that sometimes we get very lonely in this entrepreneur journey, and I want to invite you to join us into our limited time only Purposeful You Mastermind. For many of us entrepreneurs, we believe that we can do it all, but the reality is that doing it alone only creates a lot of overwhelm. So join us at the Purposeful You Mastermind. You can find out more information by going to bit.ly/Julie's Mastermind. This is going to be the place where you are able to then unlock your full potential and achieve long-term success for your business. Push you behind your current limits, expand your connections, discover new ideas, and implement them with confidence. You're going to get the support in all aspects and transforming you to the six-figure business you've been looking for. Pause and get off the hamster wheel if you've been spinning around. This is a time where you can get that support from like-minded entrepreneurs that are here to join you in your journey. Together, we can challenge the assumptions and land the speaking engagements and opportunities we want to grow our business and make an impact in the lives of people. See you then. Remember, you can find the mastermind at bit.ly Julie's Mastermind.